Good evening, Joshua. There's a lot going on, I got to tell you. And I have my hand to my ear because the audio is pretty bad here. Obviously, it's incredibly loud. Walk with me, John, a little bit, because I just want to give Joshua a sense of this crowd here right now. If you don't mind, just pushing aside. Sorry about that. Listen, they started this rally at 6 p.m. tonight. This is, I believe, the second kind of official rally of the day. Folks have been here all night for the last 24 hours since that opinion leaked. John, let's just do a 360 because I kind of want to give folks a sense of just how large this crowd really is. I mean, if you can kind of swing all the way around here, you see folks for a while here, and it looks as if they are not dissipating anytime soon, Joshua. I was actually here at the Supreme Court when they argued. I believe it was back in February. The crowd was not as large then as it is now. Now, John's got to walk a little bit with me, Joshua, but usually you guys know at this point I walk a lot when I do these sorts of things. So let's talk to some folks that are out here today that came specifically here to kind of support abortion rights for women. Cerise is one woman who came out here to talk a little bit about that. Cerise, good to talk to you. Thanks for talking to me today. How are you feeling today in hearing about this leaked document from the Supreme Court and possibly overturning Roe v. Wade?
I think we all feel the frustration with our government. We feel that we are not getting the support that we need. We elected Joe for a reason. He ran on all of these issues, and we're just seeing them peeled back one by one. So we're all frustrated.
You're saying Joe, the President of the United States, you're on a first-name basis
Joe,
with
we're on
him.
a first-name basis at this point, Joe.
Do you feel like something can get done here in Washington?
Absolutely. I feel like it's Joe's responsibility to stand up for what's right, codify Roe v. Wade. Like, he has steps that he can take. We don't need to wait until November. This is not something that we need to wait on. It's very clear what the intentions of the Supreme Court are today and in June.
What do you think he can do?
He can go ahead and let's get it codified. He can start the process. Like, we can do it today. We don't have to wait.
Have you been frustrated with his administration up until now?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because I feel like we were given the lesser of two evils choice. We kind of had to just choose what we could to maintain the sanctity of our government, but like, he's not doing anything to carry us forward. We have to have progress. We can't stay stagnant, and people voted based off of emotion, based off what they were seeing, and that's fine, but we have to take it forward.
Thank you, Cerise, so much for talking. Joshua, I got a couple people for you, so stick with me for just one moment, okay? It's obviously a very big day here in Washington. A lot of folks coming out, and they want to use their voice in support for abortion rights here in this country. Katie and Emily joining me now as well. Guys, good to talk to you. How are you feeling this evening?
Angry, stressed.
Why is that?
I mean, we're rolling back 50 years. Like, why is this happening? You know, this is a human right. It's medical care. You know, my nieces, you know, my little cousins, like, they don't understand what's happening right now. It's, you know, it's going to stop abortion. It's just going to stop safe abortions.
Going to stop safe abortions. Katie, what about you? Do you feel like, I was just talking to Cerise over there who said Joe Biden needs to do something, the president needs to do something. Do you think something can be done here in Washington to stop Roe from being overturned and or codify abortion rights in this country for women? Do you feel confident something can be done?
I don't know. My rage right now is pretty palpable, and I think we've seen this happen in plain sight and nothing has stopped it this far, so it's really hard to say if we'll see something happen.
So when you saw the senators out here earlier today saying we are going to get something done, whether it's the Women's Health Protection Act or to figure out a way to codify Roe, did you feel as if their sentiment was real and actionable?
I feel that their sentiment is real. Whether or not it's actionable and can get done is a whole other question.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Joshua, one more for you. Just stick with me. This is Bethany. Bethany has an 8-month-old daughter at home. You said you woke up this morning. You were really frustrated and angry seeing what had taken place, this possibility of Roe being overturned. And for you, this fight is about the future of your daughter.
Absolutely. She looked at me and she smiled, and even though I was tired and I felt defeated, I knew that we had to come here today. I'd come every day to keep this fight up and to make very clear that what this court is primed to do, what they will do, will absolutely have a devastating impact, but it is not going to stop abortions from happening. Abortions are going to continue happening, and there will be some that will be forced to travel great distances and to endure incredible hardships to get that care, and that is unjust. There are some that will be forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy to term. That is a human rights violation. And for others, they will self-manage their abortions safely and with dignity. There will still be people who are having abortions after this decision.
And you had an abortion yourself when you were 19 years old.
I did.
And how did that change your life?
It changed everything for me. I think that decision was a deeply personal decision for me. It was also one that for many years I did not share. I experienced a great deal of stigma, and that's why I tell my story now, and why I think it's so important that we do share our stories to break that stigma, because abortion is healthcare. Abortion is healthcare. Abortion is incredibly common, and that's what I want my daughter to know. I want her to know that her mother had an abortion, her aunt, her grandmother, that all of these women, her mommy's friends, all of these women in her life who love her and who care for her have had abortions. And abortion is safe, and it's health care. And if she needs an abortion in her life, she will be loved and she will be supported, and she will do it safely and with dignity. No matter what this court says, that is what will happen for her.
Thank you, Bethany, so much. Great to talk to you today. So, Joshua, some of the words that I've been hearing, I've been walking around the crowd since I got here just an hour or so ago, flying down from New York City, and I asked a lot of women in the crowd, what was the first word that you thought of when this was leaked last night by Politico? And I heard shock, I heard anger, I heard distress, I heard disgusted. Some folks felt invigorated, felt as if maybe this would drive people to the polls come November. Others felt pessimistic about what this may do. But nonetheless, the sentiment that I'm hearing over and over again from so many women is this. This is not necessarily about us, because a lot of the women here, they have. These are the haves of the society. They think about the have-nots. The women that I saw in Louisiana, for instance, who were crossing the Texas border to go to Louisiana to seek out abortion services, these are black and brown women, and these women here acknowledge that it's those women that will be adversely affected by a ruling like this one, Joshua.
Yasmin, I really appreciate you sharing those stories with us from the women who are there in the crowd. Let me ask you one quick thing before I let you go. We're going to talk politics a little bit later in the program, but what have you seen in terms of politicians coming to speak to the crowd? Particularly, have you seen a mix of politicians across the issue, or is it mostly pro-abortion rights politicians speaking to the crowd?
Pro-abortion rights politicians that we've been seeing across the board. Senator Amy Klobuchar was here earlier. As I said, Senator Schumer as well. They were here with a team of senators vowing to fight this thing till the very end. Senator Warner actually was caught on camera, actually quite emotional, I should say, saying that she was caught off guard on this and feeling very angry about the possibility of the overturn of Roe. And then, of course, we heard from Chief Justice John Roberts issuing a statement earlier today saying, in fact, they're going to launch an investigation into the leak of this thing. And I will say this, surrounding the politics of all this, I think a lot about the Supreme Court. And we've talked about the politics surrounding the Supreme Court a few different times. And when it comes to the leak inside the Supreme Court, I think we have to ask ourselves two questions, one of which is the overturning of a precedent, a half a century of precedent inside the Supreme Court, how people will view that in the future. And now this unprecedented leak. Because I will say there are even folks here that are for abortion rights in this crowd that also said it was shocking that something like this would leak, that they were caught so off guard, knowing it was a possibility, a very strong possibility, but hearing it come the way that it did was shocking to them in many ways.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.